Hi friends, I'm Olivia. If you've never seen my face before, I am a perfume enthusiast, reviewer, whatever you'd like to call me. If you have seen my face before, welcome back friends. I'm so excited to have you here today because we are going to be talking about perfumes that are perfect for layering. Not only do they make perfect day-to-day fragrances, but we need an arsenal that will change up some of our more specific perfumes. If that's your sort of thing, I invite you to subscribe to the channel. I talk about perfumes every Saturday, 10 a.m. PST. And without further ado, let's get into the video. First off is the biggest no-brainer of the list. That is Juliet has a gun, not a perfume. So the reason that this is called not a perfume is this is comprised of one singular note, which is Cetilox. And that's another name for ambroxan. And what ambroxan is a synthesized molecule that simulates ambergris. And if you don't know what ambergris is, it's actually pretty gross. And they don't use it in perfumes much anymore because it is, I believe, illegal. At least in the States, it is illegal because it is a substance that is harvested from the sperm whale, specifically in their digestive tract. It is a thick, waxy substance that is either vomited or is in their excrement. It's formed around harder pieces in their diet. So basically, it's a waxy substance that protects their digestive lining. And a very long time ago, we were using that in perfumes because it gave a very unique fragrance. First off, it gives a really strong staying power to fragrances. It has a sweet, sometimes salty, sometimes woody type scent to it. Everyone seems to perceive this very differently. So although this does not have whale vomit chunks in it, I still think that this is a perfect fragrance to start with. This is going to smell incredibly different on everybody. So for me, this smells slightly sweet, very clean, and a little bit woody. A lot of people say that they've tried this fragrance. They said it disappeared. I couldn't smell it. Well, this is one of those fragrances that you might not necessarily smell on yourself, but other people are going to smell it on you, but they won't necessarily detect that this is a perfume. They're going to smell it and they're going to think, wow, your natural odor is incredible. It's as if the sweat coming out of your pores is like the tears of Aphrodite. And what's great about the simple composition of this is that this doesn't irritate allergies. So I have a girlfriend of mine who cannot wear perfume. She is allergic to what seems like absolutely everything, which I find it adorable. On my birthday, she got me a perfume. And I asked her, how did you even pick it out? And she said, I went to the counter and I handed my phone to the lady and I said, my friend's a perfume reviewer, look through her stuff and tell me what she doesn't have. So the lady suggested J'adore by Dior and I absolutely love it. I think it's beautiful. So just a funny side note, I thought that was a funny story. But anyways, she is allergic to absolutely everything. And one day I was hanging out with her and I was like, God, you smell really good. And she was like, oh, I have this. And she pulls out a rollerball little travel size of not a perfume. And I was like, I thought you were allergic to perfume. She's like, no, this does not give me headaches. It is the only one that doesn't give me migraines or give me allergies. So this is actually known to not set off allergies and contain no allergens. So this is the absolute perfect place to start. If you've tried this, comment down below and tell me what your experience was with this fragrance. Next, along the similar category, is another 13 by Le Labo. Now this gets me so many compliments. I was wearing this at a grocery store. I am going down the aisles and I swear to God, you know when people are following you and you can feel it like a tickle on your head? I felt someone following me. And I kept looking back and there was this woman and she was pushing her shopping cart and trying to kind of look away from me. And then finally she said, I'm so sorry. I feel like I'm following you a little bit, but I just need to know what your perfume is because it just smells fantastic. And it's another 13. And mind you, Le Labo doesn't really work with reviewers. So I bought this. And this is not a cheap perfume. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. Their prices are egregious. They really are so expensive. but particularly I find this incredible. So it's a little bit similar to Juliet Has a Gun, where it's going to smell a little bit different on everybody. I find this to be slightly more masculine. This has a little bit of pear, so it has a little bit of sweetness. It has some citrus to it. It also has an ambery touch to it, so you get a bit of warmth. This smells like the pheromones of the hottest dude you have ever smelled. This is like the hot sauce. This is the, butter on top of your popcorn. This is the pièce de résistance. Like, it is so freaking good. Yes, it's a terrible price, but I would buy this over and over again because I simply get compliments all the time. I don't think there's been a single time that I've worn this that someone hasn't said, oh my God, you smell so freaking good. And I'm like, well, I should. This stuff is like $200 for a little tiny bottle, but it's worth it in my opinion. Now this one, totally different direction, but this is one of the most beautiful vanilla fragrances I have ever tried. I've tried vanillas in the past that are more brown sugar forward, or they're a little bit more boozy. This is like a thick, creamy, whipped vanilla. This is Bianco Latte by Giardini di Toscana. Kind of hard for me to say that, sorry. But this is an Italian brand, and this is a sumptuous, almost like, imagine the texture of shea butter or cocoa butter. It's very gourmand, but it's not thick and heavy and overbearing. So they've done an excellent job of this being a very powerful perfume, very long lasting, and I mean like 16 hours long lasting, and it's sweet and creamy and thick, but not suffocating, not overbearing. That is so hard to find. If you have some woody fragrances that you want to make a little bit more sweet and creamy, you layer it with this, oh, game over. Say you have berries and you want it to be a little bit more creamy, like berries and cream. It makes me think of that stupid commercial from back in the day. Berries and cream, berries and cream. Move on, Olivia, move on. So sometimes when you have a berry perfume, it's a little bit tangy, a little bit simple, maybe a little juvenile. You add a dash of this, and this beautiful velvety texture comes out, and it goes with so many different things. And I even like to sneak this into more masculine perfumes to make it a little bit softer, a little bit creamier, and give it a unisex vibe. So if you have something and you're like, God, it's a little bit too masculine, add a drop of this, game changer. Sticking along the sweeter category of things, this is Boardwalk Delight by Skyler. And I'm so excited because they have a monthly scent club where they send out roller balls. I have said it on this channel before, I hate roller balls. And the reason I hate roller balls is because A, I want to be able to spray it all over my clothes because I'm more dry skinned and I'm a cold person. So when I put things on my skin, it just doesn't really radiate the same. It just seems to dissipate immediately. So I like to spray on my clothes to make sure things last longer. But the other reason that I hate roller balls is I had a roller ball and I used it for a long time. And one day I was putting it on and I was standing next to a window and I caught the light. And there were like skin particles in it. Oh my God, I can't, no. And I actually had someone comment before, Olivia, you know it's alcohol based, right? It's probably sanitizing itself. And I was like, I know it's my own skin, but it just grosses me out. It grosses me out. They originally only had this in a rollerball, and they have made it a full size. Now, what this smells like, this is very interesting. So you've got cotton candy and coconut, which would lend you to think that this is gonna be a very sweet fragrance, which it is. But this also smells like laundry detergent, like fresh, clean linens. You know those blankets that are thick, downy, like luxury blankets? You take that fresh out of the dryer and it's hot and you lay it on you and it's just this like blast of fresh, musky, clean linen. That's what this smells like with coconut and marshmallow. Beautiful fragrance on its own, But if you're ever looking to add a little bit of sweetness, but also a very clean vibe to your fragrances, this is incredible for layering as well because it's not too heavy. It's not going to dominate any fragrance that you put on top of it, but it is going to give a little bit of edge. So although a lot of people wouldn't think of this as just a layering fragrance, for me, I've layered this with quite a few different fragrances. Chef's kiss. Now this next one is from an indie niche house, and I absolutely adore this house because their quality is insanity. They last so long, and they're very affordable. And what's cool is they come with crystals inside, and these are clear quartz. And apparently the power behind crystals, if you're into them, specifically clear quartz, is that they're supposed to help with mental clarity and focus. So I thought that's a really cool, nice touch. But the scent itself is called Rami. This smells like a fluffy angel food cake. This is an almondy fragrance. It's powdery, it's fluffy, it's got a little bit of caramel and fig, it's got benzoin, which is ambery and warm, but to me, this literally smells like a fluffy, powdery angel food cake. And this on its own is stunning. But if you want to add some soft sweetness, because this is not an overbearing, tooth-achingly sweet fragrance, but a sweet, fluffy, powdery, almondy, almost vanillic type fragrance to your scent. If you add this, it will give it a crazy lasting power. Their longevity is incredible. I've actually met the owner. She's the sweetest woman, and she told me that these are made with fractionated coconut oil. And I don't know if that's what makes these last so incredibly long. Beautiful, sweet, fluffy, perfect everyday fragrance, but sexy enough that you could totally wear this to date night. And it's not going to be like, hey boys, come look at me. But it's very like, hey, come hither. Oh my God, I can't speak highly enough about this brand. Specifically, this scent is stunning. In a completely different direction, this one is newer to my collection, but I have found that I have been layering this with a bunch of different things. So this is from Eccentric Molecules, and this is Molecule 01 and Guaiac Wood. Guaiac Wood has a very dry, almost hickory scent to it. So it's interesting, you have to like a really, really woody, dry scent, but not like sandalwood where it almost comes off a bit herbal. This is more smoky smelling. So some people think that it smells like barbecues laid chips. Lay's not laid. I don't think it smells like that. I think it smells like a beautiful, smoky, woody experience. This is a molecular perfume, so this is going to be very long lasting, but it's going to be one of those fragrances. Again, kind of like another 13. Maybe you won't smell it as much. You'll smell the woodiness, but there's other facets that you'll be able to smell in the beginning, but as you're going through your day, maybe you don't smell it, but other people will smell it on you, and you'll just smell incredible. So if you're looking to add a bit of smoky, dry woodiness to your fragrance, maybe you have something that's a little too sweet and it will give almost a toasted effect. And I haven't actually tried this combination together, but I'm imagining this like creamy, whipped, thick vanilla along with the like toasted, smoky woodiness of this would probably smell like a toasted marshmallow. This next one is probably the best skin scent I have ever tried. So if you're looking for something that is perfect day to day, it's not going to smell perfumey, it's not going to be loud, but when people hug you, they're going to think you're like a mystical fairy because you smell so good naturally somehow. So this is Mudo is the brand, and the scent is called Worthy. And what this smells like to me is a very natural red rose petal that almost has a plushy, velvety texture to it, almost waxy, a really soft, powdery vanilla, a little bit of woodiness. This is just an ethereal scent. It is so soft. It's creamy, but it's not overtly floral. It's not super woody. It's not super sweet. The amount of compliments that I get from my husband specifically when I wear this. This is one of those ones that just make you smell not like you're clean out of the shower, but you just naturally are a clean, radiant person. It doesn't smell like bath products. It doesn't smell like laundry detergent. It is just soft, powdery, creamy, a little bit vanilla with a little bit of like a velvety rose touch. It's so special. I really, really adore this. Next is another one that a lot of people wouldn't necessarily think of as a layering fragrance, but it's very interesting. So this is from Alexandria Fragrance, and they're a dupe house, but they have some house originals. And this is Cacao Dreams. Now these are extrait de parfum, so they're super duper long lasting, and their packaging is crazy for a dupe house. I mean, they're very, very luxurious. So this to me smells like a Tootsie Roll. It is a chocolate fragrance. It has a little bit of powderiness, a little bit of waxiness, but all in all, this is a smooth chocolate fragrance. And if you've ever smelled Aquilina Pink Sugar, I think a lot of people have tried that perfume. There is this addictive sugary quality and an addictive vanilla quality to it as well. This is almost like the chocolate version without that weird, screechy, like burnt rubber smell. Because I personally do not like pink sugar at all, but I could see a little bit of a comparison of the really addictive notes of that with an added note of chocolate. And this isn't like a thick, kind of melted type chocolate. This is a fine, powdery chocolate, and it is so delicious. I had a dupe of By the Fireplace, which is really smoky, woody vanilla, and I added this in, and it literally smelled like s'mores. S'mores. I was walking around smelling like s'mores, like, ugh, please, a snack. Another really good for layering is by the brand Sniff, and this is called Tart Deco. And this is a cherry fragrance for cherry fragrance haters. The complaint I've heard from a lot of people, one of them being my husband, because every time I show him a cherry fragrance, he's like, it smells like cough syrup. Nope, it smells like cough syrup. So if you've had the problem where you've had a perfume that is too sweet cherry and it smells medicinal almost, this is a good solution because this has a lot of woodiness. This has birch, this has vetiver, so it has a bit of earthiness to it. So this is more of a unisex cherry. And if you add this to something like the chocolate one that I was talking about earlier, chocolate covered cherries, unreal. So a lot of people, again, would not think of this as a layering fragrance, but this adds a depth and complexity. So if you have a fragrance that is sweet, but not necessarily that interesting, you add a little dash of this, and it's fantastic. I wear this with a dupe of Ombre Nomad. That's actually from Alexandria Fragrance, the same as the chocolate fragrance. And that is a really strong leather fragrance. Definitely not for everybody. It is super masculine. It is super loud. But sometimes I want a little bit of sweet tossed in there. So a little bit of cherry, a little bit of woodiness, and that thing sparkles. And lastly is Red Dakota by DedCool. This is a citrusy fragrance. This is actually clementine, but to me, this is like a photorealistic orange peel. And you've got a little bit of gardenia that gives it a little bit of a floral nuance, but it's not powerful. And it has a little bit of a woody dry down. So you would think that this is super straightforward, but this on its own is very complex, more so than a lot of citrus fragrances that I've tried. But if you have some fragrances that are thick and too heavy, if you add a splash of this, this gives a brightness, a juiciness, and it really helps to freshen up fragrances that are just too heavy, perhaps a little bit too masculine. This gives it a little bit of a sparkling, almost champagne type edge to it. But this on its own, stunning, and they came out with a body wash and a body lotion. So I'm gonna be wearing this in the summer like crazy. So I know some of these were a little bit unexpected and perhaps not ones that you would traditionally think of as layering fragrances, but I hope that this inspires you to get a little bit creative with your layering fragrances. They don't have to be just simple fragrances that you layer with. They can still be complex, but you just know how to use them. So I was thinking it would be interesting to do a layering 101 video. So tell me if that sounds interesting to you guys, because I want feedback. I want to talk to you guys. I want to know if that sounds like something you're even interested in. So if it is, leave me a little comment down below. So I hope you guys enjoyed today. I certainly enjoyed talking into the camera and pretending that it's you that I'm talking to hanging out. And if you did, make sure you're subscribed so that way you can see me every Saturday, 10 a.m. PST. And if you want to see me on a daily basis, you can add me on Instagram under the handle Olivia Olfactory. And until next Saturday, be kind to yourselves, friends.